Hi family, what's up and welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia Mufa and in today's video we are currently reading a story called Divorce Prescription. And the last time we ended at chapter 130 and we are going to continue from chapter 131. So if you just click this video, thank you so much for clicking this video and I believe you're not going to regret it. You are going to love the story because it's very interesting. It's a story about Adam Alvarez and Celine Tate's misguided love and you're really going to enjoy the story. You can resonate with this story in your daily relationship, marriage, although I believe whatever Celine Tate went through shouldn't be normalized. So we're going to continue from chapter 131. Chapter 131. James was left speechless. Who was Celine calling James? Which James? Oh, no, that was James' name. But she shouldn't address him like that. James had something to say, but Celine glanced at everyone before turning to leave. Haley laughed softly, glanced at James, and quickly followed Celine. Celine, wait for me. Tracy and Melody were both shocked. Mr. Lambert, what did Celine just call you? She actually called you by your first name and has she lost her mind? Both Tracy and Melody were stunned. James didn't say anything. This was already the second time. He couldn't understand why Celine could call him by his first name so casually. Wasn't she supposed to show respect to her professor? Did she even understand the concept of reverence? Only his mentor, Dr. C, could call him by his first name. Also, did she say she was trusting James to handle things? Adam watched Celine's retreating figure with a slight frown. She was truly fearless, even daring to call his uncle by his first name. At that moment, Leo stepped forward to remind him, Mr. Alvarez, you have a dinner reservation with Mrs. Tate at 7 p.m. The table has been reserved. We should head back. Now that the ice had been broken, he was taking Carly out for a romantic dinner tonight. Adam looked at James. When does Dr. C's lecture start? James replied, tomorrow morning. In that case, Adam decided to come early tomorrow to find out who this mysterious Dr. C really was. Slane and Haley were walking toward the women's dormitory. Haley was still laughing. Slane, you actually dared to call Mr. Lambert by his first name. I almost died laughing. Slane didn't see anything wrong with calling him James. At that moment, she stopped in her tracks as she noticed a familiar figure ahead. Excuse me, is Celine staying here? Someone asked. The dormitory supervisor asked, are you Celine's? I'm her grandmother. Oh my, your granddaughter is so beautiful. Right, my granddaughter looks just like an angel from the heavens. Celine was startled and quickly stepped forward, calling Grandma. It was Mary. Mary turned, looking delighted. Celine. Celine immediately rushed over and hugged her. Grandma, what are you doing here? She hadn't expected Mary to visit the university. Mary smiled lovingly. Celine, you haven't come home to see me in 2 days. Don't you miss me? Celine's eyes reddened and she buried her face in Mary's shoulder, rubbing it gently. I do. I miss you too. So I came to see you. Look, this time I wouldn't come in a luxury car and I didn't wear the fine clothes. I came alone so I won't be a burden to you. Today, Mary wore simple but neat clothes, her silver hair styled in a neat updo. She had disguised herself for the visit. Celine felt deeply moved. That night before, she had deliberately said those things to avoid worrying Mary. Celine hugged Mary again, feeling comforted by her presence. Celine, how are you adjusting to life at Yorin University? How are your studies? How are you getting along with your classmates? Have you made any friends? Mary asked, her voice filled with concern. Mary sees Celine as a new girl, a new baby. Chapter 132. At that moment, Haley stepped forward and sweetly called out, Grandma, hello. Mary looked at Haley in surprise. Ali. What? Ali? Grandma, I'm Haley. Celine's roommate and good friend. Celine is well behaved at school and we all like her a lot. Haley winked at Mary, hoping she wouldn't reveal her true identity. Mary immediately understood. All right. Then I can rest easy. Celine felt so happy. She looped her arm through Mary's and said, Grandma, you are really out. Let me take you out to have some fun. Mary beamed with joy. That sounds wonderful. I do love going out. Celine and Haley took Mary to the street and they passed by a bubble tea shop. Haley suggested, Celine, let's get a cup of bubble tea. They've just launched a new drink that's really delicious. Celine nodded. All right. Mary asked Celine, Haley, do you drink bubble tea? Celine knew that elders often forbade younger generation from drinking things like bubble tea in wealthy families. She quickly explained, Grandma, actually drinking bubble tea occasionally doesn't harm your health. Can you buy me a cup too? I would like to try it, Mary suddenly said. Celine was taken aback. She saw Mary leaning on the counter of the bubble tea shop, her eyes gleaming with excitement. I'll have the roasted brown sugar bubble milk tea. It looks so delicious. Celine and Haley exchanged a glance and both smiled. Having a fashionable, lively elder in the family made everything feel so much more cheerful. Celine waved her hand. Miss, please get my grandmother a roasted brown sugar bubble milk tea inside the 6-star restaurant. The restaurant manager approached to greet them. Mr. Alvarez, Mrs. State, this way, please. Adam had brought Carly to a candlelight dinner. Adam looked distinguished in a black suit, tall and elegant, while Carly wore a delicate form-fitting sleeveless dress, exuding womanly charm. They made the perfect couple. The restaurant was filled with the sound of soft piano, setting a romantic atmosphere. They were seated by the window, and the restaurant manager pulled a chair for Carly. She smiled gently and said, Adam, I heard that Selene got into a fight on campus today. Adam's face showed irritation and impatience at the mention of this. Let's not talk about her tonight. He didn't want to bring up Celine, although they hadn't been able to use the light as an excuse to expel Celine from Yoring University. Carly felt that Adam's indifferent and impatient attitude towards Celine had made it all worth it. All right, I won't mention her. Carly raised her wine glass. Adam didn't want to mention Celine because it made him uneasy. He picked up his wine glass ready to toast Carly. But the next second he froze. Through the gleaming glass of the floor to ceiling window, he saw something outside. Across the street, there was a bubble tea shop. An elderly lady took a large sip of roasted brown sugar bubble milk tea, puffing her cheeks as if she had discovered something truly amazing. Adam narrowed his eyes. Wasn't that his grandmother? Well, Mr. Alvarez, you're going to have the surprise of your life. Just as he thought that, the elderly lady walked away, disappearing from his view. Adam quickly dismissed the thought. It couldn't be Mary. Of course not. Mary was at Alvarez's residence and hadn't left the house in years. The woman in the shop wasn't dressed like his grandmother, and there was no luxury car picking her up. Most importantly, Mary had never drank milk tea. Well, today she's trying it. Adam snapped back to reality. He must have been seeing things. It was probably because Celine had been messing with his mind so much lately that he was starting to he was starting to hallucinate. Of course. He clinked his glass with Carly's. It's nothing. Outside, Celine has escorted Mary away from the bubble tea shop, and soon the three of them stopped at the place, Zinfoot Spa. Chapter 133. Mary looked at the large sign reading Zinfoot Spa. She then took another sip of her milk tea and curiously asked Celine, what kind of place is this? Celine raised an eyebrow, playfully smiling. Wise people avoid love dramas and relax with a massage. Grandma, Haley, I'm treating you both for a foot massage. The three of them walked in confidently. The shop owner immediately greeted them with enthusiasm. Celine said, Ma'am, I would like 3 male therapists. Please send us your tallest, most handsome top male therapist. The shop owner responded cheerfully, Sure, VIPs, please follow me. At the high-end restaurant, Adam and Carly enjoyed dinner in the romantic glow of candlelight, accompanied by the soft melodies of a piano. Just then, Adam's phone vibrated, signaling incoming call. It was from Alvarez's residence. Adam answered, and Alvarez's panic voice came through. Mr. Alvarez, something bad has happened. Adam's face stiffened, and his expression turned cold. What happened? Mr. Alvarez, Mrs. Alvarez Sr. is missing. Today, Celine is in trouble. Mr. Alvarez, I went out for a while this afternoon, and when I returned, she was gone. Also, these past few days, Mrs. Alvarez Sr. has been asking a lot about Mrs. Alvarez, whether she's doing well at school, and if anyone is bullying her. Could Mrs. Alvarez Sr. have gone to find her? Adam's mind raced. He suddenly thought of something and looked at the bubble tea shop across the street through the window. It was very close to Yoring University. The elderly lady drinking bubble tea just now wasn't anyone else. She was his grandmother. This part is very funny to me. Adam hung up the phone and immediately stood up. He pressed his lips together. Something's happened to my grandmother. I won't be able to stay with you tonight. You should head home. I like how this actually ruined his candlelight dinner with Carly. Without another word, Adam turned and left. The romantic candlelight dinner was ruined, and Carly felt a little upset. Was Mary doing this on purpose? Carly looked confused. Adam, what happened? He pressed his lips together. Something's happened to my grandmother. I won't be able to stay with you tonight. You should head home. Without another word, Adam turned and left. The romantic candlelight dinner was ruined, and Carly felt a little upset. Was Mary doing this on purpose? She had thought that now that she and Adam had broken the ice, they could deepen their relationship. But every time they tried to have a private moment, someone always interrupted. Hmm. Yesterday it was Ali and today it was Mary. Soon, Adam arrived at the entrance of Zenful Spa. Leo softened his voice as he reported, Mr. Alvarez, we found out that Mrs. Alvarez brought Mrs. Alvarez Sr. and Miss Haley here. Adam glanced up at the large sign that read Zen for Spa. What's the big deal? What's the big deal about them being at the for spa? Mr. Arrogant. What are they doing here? He asked. Leo hesitated. Well, Adam raised an eyebrow. Why are you hesitating? Leo wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Wise people avoid love dramas and relax with a massage. So Celine is avoiding love drama and she's relaxing herself with a massage. Okay, I now get it. Adam froze for a moment, so Celine brought Mary and Ali here for foot massages. The heck? Adam quickly stepped into the spa. The owner warmly greeted him. Hey, handsome, are you here for a foot massage? A group of well trained bodyguards rushed in, blocking the shop owner to the side. This man is so angry. What's the big deal about this? Adam walked in with Leo. Each step he took in his sharp, tailored black trousers felt a powerful, steady arc, mesmerizing everyone around. The owner was dumbfounded. This man completely outshone their top male therapist by miles. He was so handsome. The bodyguards opened the door to VIP room 303 and stepped aside. Adam entered and saw the three people inside. Celine, Mary, and Haley were comfortably lying on the couch, their feet being pampered by three tall and handsome male therapists who were giving them foot massages. Celine smiled and asked, Grandma, is the foot massages comfortable? Chapter 134. Mary took another leisurely sip of her milk tea, sighing in contentment. This is simply divine, she said with a satisfied smile. As she spoke, her attention shifted to the young, handsome therapist standing before her. How old are you? She asked curiously. I'm 18, the therapist replied politely. Mary chuckled, her eyes twinkling with amusement. No wonder men still adore no wonder men still adore 18-year-olds, even when they are 80. I think it was supposed to be no wonder women still adore 18-year-olds, even when they are 80. Turns out even an 80-year-old grandma can't resist them. Laughter erupted in the room. Celine and Haley couldn't contain themselves, their laughter echoing through the room, blending with Mary's carefree chuckles. Leo had planned to step in to remind Celine about the current situation, but hearing the cheerful commotion, he hesitated. Shaking his head, he quietly backed away. Forget it, everyone had their own blessings. Celine would just have to handle this herself. Meanwhile, Adam stood frozen in the doorway, veins throbbing on his forehead. The scene before him was unimaginable. His grandmother sitting there with milk tea in hand, thoroughly enjoying herself with a foot massage. What's the big deal? Shouldn't you even be happy that your grandma have finally left the house to get fresh air and doing a massage? A foot massage is very healthy for her. It's good for her nervous system. A dark, oppressive anger surged through his chest, rising to his temples. His bloodshot eyes fixed on Celine, the root of all his chaos. What was she thinking? Had she completely lost her mind? This was outright rebellion. Hey, this man is from a different planet too. He had been so sure their story was over, convinced he was on the verge of starting a new chapter with Carly. But no, Celine had managed to insert herself into his life again, turning everything upside down. Blissfully unaware of the storm brewing outside, Celine continued relaxing on the sofa. Her delicate feet rested in the hands of a tall, handsome therapist who skillfully kneaded them. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Perhaps it felt too good. Her toes twitched adorably, their playful movements exuding a lively charm. Adam's mouth twitched in disbelief, standing there with his hands on his hips. He let out an incredulous laugh. Back in the women's dormitory, he had once grabbed those same soft little feet only for her to yank them away in panic, hiding them under her skirt. What a hypocrite. At that moment, Haley noticed him standing at the doorway. She bolted, upright in shock and stammered, Mr. Alvarez. Mary still missed sip of her milk tea, froze in shock. Adam. Oh my goodness. However, Celine remained oblivious. lounging comfortably with an eye mask over her face. Adam, no way he had show up here. He's probably at a fancy restaurant at this hour having a candlelight dinner with Carly. The next second, the eye mask was yanked off her face and an unmistakable aristocratic profile loomed above her. It was the devil himself. Oh my goodness. Celine gasped as if she had just seen a ghost. Adam glared down at her, his expression dark and menacing. Through gritted teeth, he roared, "Put your shoes on and get out here now." Why do Adam treat Celine like she's a kid? Celine scrambled to obey, stumbling out of the room in no time. She, Mary, and Haley stood in a row in the corridor. Their heads bowed like high school students caught misbehaving. They have given Adam too much credit. Can you imagine that? Their heads bowed like high school students caught misbehaving. Adam's sharp, steely gaze swept over them, making the air around them suffocating. Whose idea was this? He demanded coldly. Can you imagine that? Without hesitation, Mary and Haley both pointed directly at Celine. Can you imagine these ungrateful people? Celine was left speechless. What? What utter betrayal? Haley cleared her throat awkwardly. "Mr. Alvarez, I just remember that I have homework to finish. I'll head back to school now." Without waiting for a response, she slipped away. Mary quickly followed suit. "Adam, it's late. I need to go home now." They are betraying Celine. Oh. In an instant, the corridor emptied, leaving only Adam and Celine. Celine looked up at him with wide, innocent eyes, his expression as dark as a brewing storm. "Mr. Alvarez, I'll be on my way to..." Before she could move, his strong hand clamped around her slender wrist. His voice, cold and menacing, rumbled in her ear. Did I say you could leave? And why do she need your permission to leave, Mr. Alvarez?" Chapter 135. Adam hadn't given her permission to leave, but she wanted to. Celine tried to free her delicate wrist, but Adam's long, commanding fingers gripped her tightly, dragging her along without mercy. "Adam, what are you doing? Let go of me. Why are you taking me?" His strides were long and unyielding, forcing Celine to stumble awkwardly as she struggled to keep up. He marched her out of the spa and shoved her into his Rolls Royce Phantom, driving off without a word. Half an hour later, the car pulled up in front of the Alvarez group. Adam pulled her out of the car and into the building without missing a beat. Hey, tonight the tech department employees were working late to meet a deadline. Some had just been about to grab a coffee when they noticed their overbearing CEO walking in, dragging a breathtakingly beautiful woman. "Mr. Alvarez." All traces of sleepiness vanished instantly. "Good evening, Mr. Alvarez." Adam didn't spare them a glance, pulling Celine straight towards his office. The tech department buzzed with excitement once the office door shut behind them. Was that our CEO's wife or a... Oh my God, she's like an angel. One employee sneaked a photo of Celine and shared it in the company's internal chat group. The group exploded with chatter. Is she the same one who got into a fight at university and had Mr. Alvarez called in during an important meeting? She's so gorgeous, more beautiful than Carly. Well, that's why she's the wife and Carly is just Carly. Looks like Mrs. Alvarez causing trouble again. Did you see the look on Mr. Alvarez's face? He's probably about to give her a serious scolding. Inside the CEO's office, Adam shoved Celine inside and slammed the door behind him. He tore off his tie with rough, almost violent motions, radiating raw, dangerous energy. "Celine, explain yourself." Celine hesitated, guilt flashing through her. She didn't know why someone who should have been having a candlelight dinner with Carly had caught her red-handed. While she stayed silent, Adam stepped closer, his imposing figure towering over her. His breath was heavy and his eyes narrowed into a cold smile as he spoke. Adam is making a big deal out of this. He should just admit that he should just admit that he wants to spend time with Celine in the office. That's all, and stop pretending like he's angry. Was it you who took Grandma out for bubble tea? He began listing her supposed wrongdoings. Celine immediately denied. "No, we didn't have any bubble tea." Seeing her lie so blatantly, Adam's broad chest rose and fell into barely contained rage. Did you not take grandma for a foot massage? It's like he's talking to his 2-year-old daughter. Slane, I really underestimated you. Is there anything you won't do? It's bad enough that you can't behave, but now you've dragged Grandma and Haley into this mess. Adam's furious shout made Celine's shoulders tremble, but she lifted her chin defiantly. Her voice steady despite the fear. Why are you yelling at me? I haven't said a word about you and Carly, so what's wrong with me going for a foot massage? How dare she talk back? Adam's eyes darkened as he shoved her backward. Celine's slender back collided with the cold, unyielding surface of the window. Before she could recover, his tall, powerful frame pressed against her, trapping her between him and the glass. Then Adam's large, strong, light hand closed around her slender neck. His gaze locked onto her face with a mix of rage and disbelief. Celine, you must have a death wish. The air around her seemed to grow thinner, and she instinctively clawed at his hand. Let go of me. Adam's eyes lingered on her angelic dove-like face, so raw with rage. How dare she disrupt his life, twist his emotions, and show no remorse? His grip remained firm as her oxygen grew scarce. Was he really going to strangle her? Did he hate her this much? Did he want her dead? Selene didn't want to die. In a desperate move, she stood on her tiptoes, leaning forward until her soft lips pressed against his cold, thin ones. Adam froze, his tall frame going rigid. Adam is lying. He is lying. He just wanted to find an excuse to be alone with Selene. That's all he's doing. Selene's lips lingered against his for a moment before she patted them slightly, kissing him gently. Her lips traced the sharp contours of his mouth. Adam couldn't remember the last time they had kissed. All he knew was that her kiss now sent a numbing hit coercing through his entire body. Chapter 136. Adam panted heavily, his weight pressing down entirely on Selene. Damn it, his body seemed to remember her. He hadn't even touched Carly. Most men would crave a little romance or passion at his age, but he had always been indifferent to such things. It never felt like something he was missing. And then he met Celine, especially that stormy night when she helped him. That night, she let him taste something he had never experienced before. Now, every time he came into contact with her, that feeling resurfaced, stirring him in ways he couldn't control. And he hated it. And he hated it. His grip loosened on her slender neck, and Celine sucked in big gulps of fresh air. He was so heavy. She pressed her hands against his strong chiseled chest, trying to shove him off. Adam, let go of me. Adam's sharp eyes glinted, catching a faint, eerie tinge of red. Bracing his hands against the floor-to-ceiling window behind her, he lowered his intense gaze onto her. So gonna say you didn't drink bubble tea. He could already taste the sweet flavor lingering in her mouth. Celine instantly clamped a hand over her lips. Bubble teas are all artificial sweetness. They are bad for you. Nowadays, bubble teas are handmade. It's not as cheap or unhealthy as you think. Drinking one tonight won't ruin grandma's health. She cut him off. Her lips still carried that sweetness with the faintest trace of creamy milk. He wasn't sure if it was because the bubble tea had been artisanal or if she just naturally tasted that sweet. There was something about her, an energy so vibrant and youthful that Carly, with all her carefully crafted elegance, simply couldn't match. Adam said nothing more. His gaze swept downward, lingering on her lips, shiny and soft from the kiss, and then back to meet her eyes. What was that look? She had only kissed him out of desperation, a fleeting attempt to escape his grasp. It hadn't meant anything, but now, was he thinking about kissing her again? Hmm. The way he looked at her, God, it was so captivating. His magnetic charm was simply part of him, effortless and inescapable. Celine suddenly crouched down, slipping out from under his arm and quickly retreating a few steps, putting as much distance as she could between them. The moment she backed away, the ambiguous atmosphere between them dissolved into smoke, like smoke. Adam straightened up, brushed off the moment as if regaining his composure were effortless. Mr. Alvarez, you've lectured me enough. If there is nothing else, I will head back to campus now. Celine said. His reply was swift. I haven't given you permission to leave. Before she could respond, a knock at the door broke and silence. broke the silence. Leo entered, balancing a stack of papers in his hands. Mr. Alvarez, here are the five test packets you asked for. Test packets. Without hesitation, Adam took the stack and unceremoniously tossed it into Celine's arms. From now on, you are going to take your studies seriously. You are finishing all five of these tonight. The weight of the papers landed against her chest, and she caught them awkwardly, staring at him in utter disbelief. Was he serious? Was he out of his mind? Did he even realize who she was? By tomorrow, she was going to make him a joke, a story everyone would laugh at over lunch. But tonight, she had no way of fighting back. With no other option, Celine grudgingly sat down. The scratch of her pen filled the silence as she began writing. As she began working. Adam, on the other hand, had already dismissed her from his thoughts. He returned to his sleek black leather office chair and began reviewing documents. An hour passed outside the city skyline grim under the blanket of night. Adam, when Adam finally glanced up, his gaze settled on Celine and froze. She had slumped over the desk, sound asleep. She had fallen asleep again. Adam walked over to her, and when he looked down at the test packet scattered in front of her, he froze. We're going to the last chapter. Chapter 137. All five test packets were finished. Adam picked them up, flipping through the pages quickly. The neat, delicate handwriting was unmistakably Celine's. Every answer was correct. How was that possible? He froze, tuned. She had completed five test packets in an hour, and all of them had perfect scores. How did she pull that off? Suspicion clouded Adam's mind as his gaze shifted to Celine, still sound asleep at the desk. Then his voice cut through the silence. Leo. Moments later, the office door opened and Leo stepped inside. Mr. Alvarez, what can I do for you? Adam's tone turned sharp. Leo, I didn't expect you to do something like this right under my nose. Leo blinked, caught completely off guard. Mr. Alvarez, what did I do? Adam slammed the test packets onto the desk. You let Celine cheat by giving her the answers. For a moment, Leo froze, his mind racing. Then his thoughts practically screamed. What? Mr. Alvarez, I didn't do anything. But Adam wasn't interested in hearing any explanation to him. Explanations were all just excuses. There was no way Celine, with her current ability, could have completed five perfect test packets in an hour, unless Leo had handed her the answers. 1 month's salary docked. Don't let this happen again. Now get out, Adam said curtly. Leo stood there, utterly dumbfounded. With a sigh of defeat and slumped shoulders, Leo left the office thinking bitterly, why me? What did I even do? This arrogant man is just arrogant and annoying. Adam had planned to wake Celine up and give her a thorough lecture, but the sight of her sleeping so peacefully gave him pause. Realizing how late it had gotten, he had no choice but to scoop her up into his arms. Carry her into his private lounge. He made his way to the bed. He had been staying there the past few days. Carefully, he laid Celine down on the bed, tucking her in. He intended to leave immediately, but just as he turned to go, her arms suddenly wrapped around his neck. When, with surprising strength, she pulled him down onto the bed with her, and for the second time in just a few days, the two of them ended up in the bed together. Celine wriggled into his arms. Her delicate hands clung tightly to his neck as she snuggled closer, finding a comfortable spot against him before slipping back onto the untroubled sleep. With surprising strength, she pulled him down into the bed with her, and for the second time in just a few days, the two of them ended up sleeping in bed together. Celine wriggled onto his arms, her delicate hands clung tightly to his neck as she snuggled. She snuggled closer, finding a comfortable spot against him before slipping back into her deep, untroubled sleep. Adam lay there stiffly, his entire body tense. Even after days apart, she was still as clingy as ever, clinging to him tightly, not letting go. Adam tried to pry her hands off him. Celine, let's go. We can't sleep together like this. Carly had made it clear that he wasn't allowed to share a bed with her, but Celine didn't respond. Adam saw his sharp, handsome features softening with a trace of helplessness and frustration. Soon, sleepiness began to creep in, tugging at his resistance. He gave up, resting his hand lightly on her delicate shoulder. He pulled her closer into his arms and closed his eyes. Just then, his phone lit up the nightstand. The screen glowed with Carly's name. It was her calling. But Adam had put his phone on silent earlier. The call went unanswered, ringing again and again in vain until the screen dimmed back into darkness. The next morning, Adam stared, his eyes slowly fluttering open. A warm, boneless weight was still nestled in his arms. Celine hadn't woken up yet. Adam shifted his gaze to the clock on the wall. It was almost 8 a.m. He rarely slept this late. Normally, he was up by 6 sharp, but whenever he slept with Celine beside him, his sleep quietly im- his sleep quality improved, so much so that he always ended up sleeping in. Carefully, he moved to slip his arm out from under her. He needed to get up and start his day, but the moment he tried to pull away, Celine clung tighter to him, her arms wrapping more firmly around him. Adam glanced down at her fair, delicate face, still relaxed in sleep. Celine, I need to get up and go to work. In response, she buried her face deeper into his chest. She wriggled slightly and let out a sleepy, muffled whimper. It was a spoiled, almost petulant sound, the kind of girlish protest that felt like a drawn out no, sweet teasing and utterly disarming. So this is where we end with chapter 137. I believe you really enjoyed the story. And I want to ask, what is the big deal about Celine taking grandma to have some tea? Why is Adam so angry about this? I really don't get it. I don't get this man. Seriously. What do you also think? Please leave a comment down below. And thank you so much. I have to go get my kids from school. I'll see you again. Bye.